Were they human beings or madmen or gods? That was the question American journalist Edgar Snow captured in Red Star over China, reflecting the awe of the opposing troops who tried to hold the bridge against Red Army soldiers in a desperate battle nearly 90 years ago. The answer lies right here at Luding Bridge. In May 1935, only 13 iron chains stood between the Red Army and survival. 22 of its soldiers volunteered to lead the way across. Behind them stood an entire army. Ahead lay a hail of enemy gunfire. Below, the roaring Dadu River. The battle, the heroic seizing of the Luding Bridge, was a key episode in the Long March, a 12,500-kilometer trek the Red Army undertook from 1934 to 1936 to break through enemy encirclement. By the time they reached the Dadu River, they had been marching for months. But this river loomed as the ultimate barrier to their path north. Luding Bridge became their only viable hope. Losing it could have ended the Long March. Defying overwhelming odds, they crossed under a hail of fire. The victory paved the way north and became one of the defining moments of the Long March. Today, Luding Bridge is welcoming people from around the world. As a major stop on the Sichuan leg of CICG's Together on the Long March international communication project, Luding Bridge welcomes participants from around the world as they retrace the Long March, revisit the places where history unfolded, and explore why this journey continues to inspire people today.
Really, the whole battle itself was a direct reflection of the resilience of the soldiers. I think that you're in awe to know each and every different detail when you continue the journey of the Long March. Like earlier today, I found that they didn't have time to cook or eat decent food. They were eating hard rice, drenched in rain and sweat and blood in order to survive. So not only are you malnourished, you're walking and you're trying to get across this wobbly bridge, you're trying to dodge bullets, you're trying to make sure your comrades are okay. So each aspect of their resilience impresses me.
The 22 people who were in the death squad, they were all in their early 20s, so they're very young. Basically, they're in the prime of their lives. They had the future before them. But despite that, they were so motivated, they had such faith in the Communist Party that they were willing to lay down their lives for the future of the party, the army, and their country. Of course, I realized that the place and time were very different, but despite that, I could not have imagined having to face something like that when I was in my early 20s or in my life ever. So I have the utmost of respect for those 22 individuals who decided willingly to do that.
The fact that a lot of the soldiers were probably around my age is pretty crazy, that they had to experience something like this, crossing the bridge and finding these soldiers across the river and traveling this far. Luckily, in our day and age, I don't have to go fight.
It's very important, I think, that people come here. It is a part of, I would say, red culture, red travel. Best part is that it's keeping history alive and their stories are still being told.
More than 90 years later, the bridge still stands, but everything around it has changed. The battlefields are now peaceful villages. The rugged mountain roads have become highways and tunnels. Along the Dadu River, communities are building a new future through ecotourism, agriculture, and their historical legacy. In Lengqi Town, revolutionary heritage and green development are now intertwined. Visitors come not only to honor the past, but also to experience the beauty and vitality of today's Luding. Standing here today, it's impossible not to admire the courage it took to cross this bridge. But perhaps the real legacy of Luding Bridge isn't just the battle itself. It's the belief that even in the hardest moments, people can still find a way forward. And perhaps that's why the story of Luding Bridge still resonates today.